Let's begin. Hi Vani, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. You must be very excited for today's episode because I know you are a
Yeah.
big fan of the guest who is joining us tonight.
Yes. I
Yeah.
think I'm very nervous.
No, no, it's
But yeah.
completely okay. Why don't you tell us a little about who the guest is? And guys, can you just confirm in the comments if the audio and the video is like good? If you can hear both of us, just do confirm once. And
Yeah.
yeah, I'll just one second.
I-
Yeah, I think we are good.
Cool.
So tell us
So our
about
guest tonight is an Australian singer-songwriter, and I personally discovered him about 3 years ago. And my favorite song from I think I was making you listen to this as
yeah.
well, and I was very nervous when I was doing this because I did not want you to be like, But then
But
I
I
was
really
so
like
glad you
yeah,
loved it as well. Yeah.
yeah.
It's called Going Back to Bougainville. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But yeah, I really like, yeah. I think like once I heard that singer-songwriter, I sent it to all my friends. Like you
Nice.
have to listen to this person. And but yeah, he's with us today and I'm really happy we're doing this. And I also know that he loves to travel, so probably we'll get to hear about his stories as well.
Nice, nice, nice.
Yeah.
So let's have Stu Larsen with us. Stu, if you can turn on your camera. Hi.
Hello.
How are you, Stu?
So yeah.
Ve- Very good. Yeah, it's good to see you guys.
Like I was saying, we really like your frame and we are feeling, oh, we didn't do enough to make us frame this good.
And that almost
This
never happens as well
Yeah.
with us.
this is the kitchen here. I'm staying in a little Airbnb in Switzerland, and it was either the kitchen or the other side of the room. It's just one room, so I thought maybe the kitchen is the best background.
Nice. I really like the painting which is there, the green one in the background. Yeah, that is something which is catching my attention.
Nice, well placed. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
But congratulations on the new release, Stu. I made Vaibhav as well listen to Where Have All the Leaves Gone and made him watch it.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
nice. It's so nice. Like I really, really liked it, and like I just texted Vani after finishing watching it. Like this is so, so good, and I loved the video, the animated video also.
It's an amazing video, very beautiful, from a friend of mine, Johanna. And I don't know how many hours she spent creating this video, but it's every frame is drawn by hand, and it took her
Wow.
weeks and weeks and weeks, and it's very beautiful. Yeah,
Guys, we have also put the link to the video in the description, so you should definitely check it out. And yeah, Vani.
So there was this before COVID came into our lives. You were doing this tour where you did 11 countries in about 30 days. So what was your favorite country? Because I think for Marigold, in one of the videos, you also, in two videos actually, but in one specifically, the first half of when we got struck by lightning, I think the first half is
mm.
shot in India. So what was your favorite country in among those
it
11 countries?
it was a crazy tour idea, and yeah, it was planned for March 2020, which was the worst month in my lifetime to plan something for. But it was incredible. Some of the countries I had not been to before. India was one of those, and Botswana as well. So for me, I love to travel. So it was a little crazy to be in each country for just 2 or 3 days and try to see as many things as possible in a very short amount of time. India blew me away. I did not know what to expect. I've seen things about it, read things about it, and was like, one day I'll be able to go to India. And we were just in Mumbai, and just for two days, 2.5 days, but it was just it was overwhelming to be there. So many people and the noises and just electric atmosphere. It was yeah, beautiful place. And I'm so sad that we were only there for 3 days. I wish it could have been much longer. And we almost got stuck there because of the virus. So maybe it could have been
Oh.
1 year in India, but we managed to fly out.
This,
So are you planning to come back and visit the country again? Do
I'm
you have any
dreaming
tours
about it.
planned?
There's nothing planned at all for me. I'm waiting until things return to normality. For me, I'm a little tired of seeing on every artist's social media. Okay, sorry, we have to postpone this tour again and again and again. So for me, I say, okay, I wait. When we can fly, when we can tour, then I will organize. But I would love to be in India again for sure.
Uh,
That's nice.
we also have Joanna in the comments, and she is thanking you because we just like
Ah,
talked about it. So she's saying thank yous to you. Nice.
nice.
So, what I also wanted to understand your writing process because I think all your songs are very personal, and especially going back to Wovenville. So, how did you actually come to writing that song?
It's just my life story, that song, really. There's 3 verses, and the first verse is about being a very shy, quiet child who didn't want to do anything, definitely not on my own, at least. I needed to be with my mother all the time, and I wouldn't answer the phone, or I was so shy. And the second verse is about thinking that I've got life a little more worked out, and then realizing I have no idea what's going on. And then third verse is starting again, essentially. So it's a compact version of my life story, but very personal. Yeah, and I love that you love that song. For me, every time I sing that song, it's very emotional. That one in particular. So I love to sing it. It's one of my favorites as well. Yeah.
I think I was making Vaibhav listen to the song before the
Yeah.
stream, and both of us got so emotional.
Yeah. That like really because like Vani and like we did like this marathon of listening to all your songs like just to get in the flow and like and it was so beautiful and especially this song and we really liked it. Yeah.
And there's also another song, and this was a request by some of my friends. They love 13 Sad Funerals, and they wanted to know what was the story behind the song actually.
The story is I met a girl, and it was I thought I liked her, and she did not like me at all. And she's a singer as well from Australia, and when I realized she really wasn't interested in me at all, she said, "Can you write a song for me?" She wanted me to write a song to put on her album for her to record, and I wrote this song about our situation, and so it was supposed to be for her to record for her album. And then one of my good friends, he said, "Do not give that song to her. You need to keep it for yourself." So it's a strange one. I feel very detached from that song because I wasn't really writing it thinking I would record it, and maybe that's why it worked in a good way because I wasn't as attached to it. But yeah, it's stuck around, and I'm glad.
It's nice. So, do you also listen to other forms of music like electronic or techno or maybe classical rock, etc.?
I think little bits and pieces. Yeah, I think mostly I just love acoustic singer-songwriter. That's what I would go to generally. I've got a little record player here and a bunch of records, and there's a lot of folky singer-songwriters like Crosby, Stills and Nash, and Neil Young, Bob Dylan, that kind of genre. But I do every now and then just have a little listen to some different things, or put on a random Spotify playlist and see where it goes. But I wouldn't say I know too much about other genres, but I'll listen to everything. Yeah.
What's your favorite platform to listen to music on? Is it YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Music, or any other that you have?
At the moment, it's Spotify. Yeah, I think I used to use iTunes a lot, and I'd download everything that I wanted to listen to, and then Spotify came along, and I was like, maybe I'll try it. But now it's my go-to, Spotify for sure. Yeah.
So, I know Vaibhav had a question. Vaibhav is very interested in electronic music. Vaibhav, do you want to take it?
No, I just also want to know about like how do you go about recording your like songs?
Yeah.
Because like they are so well done. Do you do the whole thing at your home or do you like, and especially in the last 1 year, like is where do you like, is there a home setup that you also have?
For the acoustic songs that I record just with the guitar and vocal, I have a very small setup that I can travel with in a backpack.
Oh,
It's a good little setup, but I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just setting it up and hoping it records well and trying to perform the song well. But I have some very talented friends who have uh, produced my 3 albums over the last 10 years. It must be almost Mike Rosenberg, who I think you know as Passenger.
yeah.
He produced my first album, and then a friend from New Zealand, Luke Thompson, produced my second with Chris Vallejo on both of those two in Sydney. And then Tim Hart is the third producer, another good friend from Australia, who's in a band called Boy and Bear as well, who, if you haven't heard, you should definitely check them out. They're playing some
Yeah.
incredible festivals in Australia at the moment,
Yeah.
and I'm very jealous. But I need people to produce the albums for me because I don't know what I'm doing. I play guitar and sing, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, I also know that you quit everything to travel and play music, for music and travel. So how did that actually come out? How were you able to reach that decision?
There
Did it
was
not scare
a
you at all?
yeah, definitely. And when I made that decision, it took a while. It was a long decision to make, and then it took a while to make the change and to go and do it. And the day that I left my little flat that I was living in, I gave away most of my things, and I put the rest in my little 2-door Ford Fiesta and drove away from where I was living. And I cried my eyes out because I thought I was making the biggest mistake of my life. It was very scary, but I promised myself I would struggle or I would try for 2 years, even if I was struggling the whole time. And if it still wasn't working after 2 years, then I would go back to a job. Um, it was a roller coaster those first, 5 or 6 years really. So I was definitely scared, but I knew that I would be scared, and I knew that I had to keep moving forward and try to push through because I felt like if I could do that, I would find a comfortable place.
Oh, nice.
That's yeah. Do you also have some favorite soundtracks from movies or TV shows?
One that comes to mind. I was obsessed with Forrest Gump when it came out, whenever that was, and I loved the eclectic Forrest Gump soundtrack. I think it's Alan Silvestri who did the score for a lot of the instrumental music on that film, and it's so beautiful, and it's got a great collection of songs from I think Bob Dylan and whoever else there is. There's so many cool bands from that era that were on it. So I adore that soundtrack in particular. Yeah.
Right. Who are
What
your
is that?
favorite like, sorry Vani, please.
No, please.
So I
Yeah.
was just asking ki, who are your favorite like who are those some of those underrated singer-songwriters that you would like to recommend? Like they need more recognition. They have been doing some great work, and so that people can go and check out their works.
Yeah.
There are so many all around the world that I've been lucky to meet and who have played shows with me in different places, and a lot of them I think should be famous. A lot of the times I'm confused why they are opening the show and I am playing after them because there's some incredible talent out there that are still undiscovered. Tim Hart is one of my friends who I always want him to be more and more well known. Um, he plays drums for Boy and Bear, but has a singer-songwriter project as well. And he's just released this new album, which is incredible. I've been playing it constantly at the moment. Another is Ken Yates. He's from Canada, and I remember he drove 8 hours from somewhere near Toronto to come down to Washington DC to play a little show with me. uh, 5 or 6 years ago, and then drove 8 hours back home afterwards. And he's so talented, amazing singer-songwriter, and yeah, he should be famous as well. There's another guy that came to my show in Mumbai actually, Zayn. He's Zayn Rodriguez. He's such a cool guy. I remember meeting him at the show, and he was full of life, and he brought, I think, 2 carloads of friends from 3 or 4 hours away, and he does some live streams every now and then on Instagram. And if I'm around at the right time, I pop in and have a bit of a listen. He's doing some cool things. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, Vaani.
If I were to ask you a completely different question, like completely opposite, do you also have any singers, or do you also have some music that you listen to but are embarrassed to admit it publicly?
uh, not that comes to my mind. Let me check my Spotify playlist here. Not off the top of my head, no.
Yeah, but like, yeah, take your time,
In
like checking out your
artists.
Spotify playlist. We would love to
Because
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
Bebo and I were talking yesterday, and we were talking about how I listen to some music on Amazon Music because I'm embarrassed to admit it publicly or get it mixed on. Like, I don't want my
Amazing.
Spotify or Apple Music recommendations to get ruined, so I listen to that music on Amazon Music or YouTube.
That's a really good thing. Yeah. Otherwise, your playlists get infiltrated with all these other things
Yeah.
that you maybe don't want there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really clever idea. I have to do that from now on.
Yeah. So there are a few questions in the comments also that we'll be taking. So guys, जो भी आपके questions है, please like keep writing those, and like we are going to pick a few of them. And like if we can pick one song right now, there is this comment by Vishal Patil. He's asking, when did you start writing songs, and what inspired you to write your first song?
My first song that I ever wrote, I didn't even play guitar. I was just singing in my bedroom. I was 12 years old, and it was called the Monday Morning Blues, about not wanting to go to school on Monday morning. I don't remember it now. It wasn't very good. I just remember the title. But then I started to learn guitar and tried to write some songs. And I think the first time I had written a song where I felt like, oh, maybe I could play this in front of people, I must have been in my 20s, I think, and started to write some songs around 23, 24. And it was just, I write about everything that's in front of me, like most artists, I guess, like most singer-songwriters at least. We write about the things that are in front of us. And for me at the time, that was friends and a relationship at the time, and slowly that developed into writing about places that I'd been, because I traveled so much over the last 10 or 15 years. But the first songs I wrote were, not the coolest songs at all. But I might re-release them someday. I removed them from the internet because I was so embarrassed about them. But maybe in another 10 or 20 years, I'll I'll re-release them when I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
What is that one thing that you've taken away from traveling so much? What is that one thing that you've actually learned or were surprised to learn?
I think the biggest thing personally that I've learnt was that it's not as difficult as what I thought it was going to be.
Nice.
Because I was so shy and I wasn't comfortable just starting conversations with people. I thought, how am I going to play music and travel the world? So I had to step out of my comfort zone, and I quickly realized that it's not as scary as what I first thought it was. But the bigger important thing that I've learned is that everyone has a story. Everyone I've met, anywhere, any situation, as soon as you can let your guard down, both sides of the conversation, and have a proper conversation, a connected conversation, everyone has a story. And I love those moments when you randomly meet someone and you can have a very quick, genuine, deep conversation. That's some of my favorite moments in life. Yeah. So everyone has a story.
I also wanted to I was just thinking of the films and the documentaries which are based on musicians. And are there any like documentaries or films about like which are your favorites, like when it comes to they depicted the life of a musician like very nicely in this or like very accurately? So is there anything that comes to the top of your mind?
I love the Ray Charles movie. I guess it's not a documentary, but it tells his life story. And Ray Charles is my number one favorite artist ever. I love
Wow.
his soul and his passion for music. And I think when I listen to him or watch old footage of him, he gives everything to what he's doing, and I find that so inspiring. So to watch that movie when it came out, and 5 or 10 times since then as well, it always inspires me. I think they did such a great job of depicting his life, and Jamie Foxx playing Ray Charles.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. So I love that movie. I adore that movie. I'm also looking forward to they're making a movie at the moment about the life of Elvis. They were shooting it in Australia last year, and it's been postponed. Um, and I think Tom Hanks is the Colonel, Colonel Tom Parker, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. I was obsessed with Elvis when I was very, very young. I watched every movie, had every album, posters of him in my bedroom. So I'm less obsessed now, but I'm looking forward to seeing that movie at least. Yeah,
Have you seen the movie A Star Is Born, the Lady Gaga and the Bradley Cooper movie?
I have, I
What's your
have.
opinion
I'm
of
very bad. I I wish if my girlfriend was here right now, she would be laughing because I forget a lot of movies that I've seen. We watched a movie the other night and I can't remember what it was. But at the time I was like, I definitely haven't seen this. We neither of us have seen it. Let's watch it together. And we got about 20 minutes in and I was like, I think I've seen this. So I'm very bad with these kind of things. So I think I've seen A Star Is Born, and I think I thought it was okay. I think I had heard mixed reviews about it. Some people hated it, some people loved it, and I think I walked away from memory. I walked away thinking, yeah, it's not as bad as what people said it was, but it's not as good as what other people said it was.
Yeah.
So I sit in the middle there. I think, yeah,
One of the favorite films that I have when it comes to music is School of Rock, the Richard Linklater movie where there is Jack Black and he's teaching all these kids.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
is such a feel-good movie. Yeah,
It's a very cool movie, and
yeah,
Jack Black is a he's a character. He's incredible. Yeah.
absolutely. Funny.
Yeah. Is there, have you also listened to any Indian artists?
A few. When I was in India, there were lots of recommendations from people coming through to me. Names that I cannot remember off the top of my head now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've had a little bit of a listen. Yeah, and I would love to delve into it more. A dream of mine, which hasn't happened yet and may never happen, is to spend months in different countries and travel around and just get immersed in local music and collaborate and record and do projects with local musicians in different countries. Um, and I would love to delve into Indian music more and more. So yeah, please send me some top 10 lists or anything that
Yeah.
you think I should start to listen to.
Vani, you can also recommend a few names right now because we were discussing a few that like we should tell Stu like he should go and check them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one was I think Tajdar Junaid. Uh, yeah, and the other one was Prateek Kuhad, I think, and then there was uh,
Yeah.
I'm forgetting the name. Uh, Peter Cat Recording Course,
Yeah.
something like that,
So
right?
there's this guy who has
Uh,
this band, Peter Cat Recording Studio, and he
Cat, yeah.
also performs solo, like he gives solo performances by this name Lifafa. So yeah, and like
Okay.
he's very Indian, like very big, like he's indie and big at the same time in India. So
Okay.
yeah, so that
Yeah.
is one person. Like we would love to send you these links after like this episode
Please
because
do.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And like we wouldn't let you go like because we also have a lot of questions, but just reminding you, we will also request you to play something for us before we end the conversation
Okay.
towards the end. But just yeah, just
Okay.
a gentle reminder, just like brace yourself for that.
Okay. Okay. Vani, I would like to know how you first heard my music. How did you hear? It was going back to Bowenville. You first heard, right? Where did
Right.
you hear it? How
I
did you hear it?
actually got recommended your music on Spotify. I got
Okay,
recommended the album Resolute,
okay,
and I think I've been obsessed with that album for like that's never happened with me. Like I usually get over songs in about a month or 2 months, max 3 months.
yeah,
And it's been 3 years, and my brother was here last weekend, my sibling, and we were
yeah.
listening to the album all over again. And that's how I
Uh,
discovered your music. And then I recommended
nice.
it to every friend I had. And I made new friends because of that music, that album as well. So that's
That's
very
so
special.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. I love how that works. Yeah, Spotify just recommends an album and you check it out and you love it. And it's that simple. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is you've traveled a lot, and what is that one thing that you believe that people advise each other, and that's absolutely insane or ridiculous? Did you
Sorry, say again.
did you come across something that people generally advise each other again and again, and you think that's absolutely ridiculous?
Did I come across? Sorry, the connection is not amazing at the
So
moment.
it's
Sorry, my
like,
Wi-Fi.
are there any particular myths that you think are there when it comes to, like, people like to give a lot of advice, like, hey,
Yeah.
do this, do that,
Yeah.
and yeah. So what are some of the things that you think people say a lot, but like they might not necessarily be true?
I think the big thing that a lot of people say is that the world is a big, bad, dangerous, scary place, and I think it can be. But from my experience, the places that I've been told are big, bad, dangerous, and scary, and to not go to that place, I've never had any problem. And I think there's so many good people in the world, and there's a documentary which I don't know if you guys know about. There's a guy called Ewan McGregor and his friend Charlie Borman. They must be almost 20 years ago. I think they did the first one. They've done 3 trips on motorbikes. The first was from London to New York, and I think Scotland to South Africa, and then Argentina to Los Angeles. And they opened, I don't know, reaffirmed something to me is maybe the right word, that they're traveling, these 2 guys on these motorbikes through random countries that sometimes they were told not to go through that country and there'll be problems. And the big picture of it is that there's always people who want to connect and can help each other out, and they've shown that in a very global way on their documentaries that they've made. And yeah, I think that's, I always come back to that. I think I love those guys for proving the point that it's not the big bad scary world all the time that people tell us it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I think your friend Zain is in the comments as well. He's saying it was such a pleasure meeting you. Looking forward to hearing from you play live again somewhere someday.
Yeah, someday.
Uh,
Hopefully in India again someday. Yeah.
I also wanted to know what's your opinion of like live music. How much do you enjoy the recording, the recording side of it and the
Yeah.
live? Which one do you enjoy more?
I definitely enjoy the live side 1,000%. The recording, I never feel completely comfortable. Um, I don't really know why. I've never really understood it, but it's not my favorite thing to do, recording. I love to play live and to connect. I think I just love to connect. Like, this is amazing just talking with you guys because there's a connection, and I love it so much. But sitting in a studio and having to try to be perfect and get the right take and do it again and again and again,
Yeah.
I don't enjoy this. And I'm not perfect, and I can't sing every note perfectly or play every chord perfectly. But playing live and connecting in that way, it doesn't matter if there's a mistake or a wrong chord or you forget a lyric. Like, it's just real, and I love that. It's forgiving and it's raw, and I definitely love playing live more than recording. Yeah.
Do you also have a song to live by or song for a particular, like some of us have songs that we play when we are taking a shower, or cleaning the room? Do you also have some playlist for that?
No, not really. I don't necessarily have soundtracks to certain aspects of life, but I have albums that I'll play for periods of time that I'll play in all of those moments. Yeah, like currently it's Tim Hart's new album. I'm just constantly playing it at the moment. It came out 2 weeks ago, I think now, and so that will be my soundtrack for this period of life. And there'll be another one that takes over at some stage from Tim's album. But I don't think I have any specific songs that I'd put on for a specific moment. I don't think so. I stayed with a friend in Argentina a couple of years ago who kept playing Frank Sinatra's That's Life every time we got back to the flat, early in the morning, late at night, whenever it was. That song was played very loud in the flat. It was a coming home song. But I haven't taken that on board as my own thing. It was definitely their thing.
I have a weird question for you. So, like they say that
Okay.
Kanye West like is known for like listening to his own songs and like saying that this is dope. Like I'm enjoying it so much while listening to his own songs. And your songs are so calming and like full of happiness. So, does it ever happen that you play your own song just to relax?
Not to relax, no. I'll play it occasionally to refresh my memory of what we did and how we recorded it, or if when it's new and I've sent it to someone, sometimes I'll listen to it again, trying to feel or imagine how that person is going to be listening to it. But no, if one of my songs comes on in a playlist on Spotify, I'm very quick to jump up and skip that button. It's a weird feeling. Yeah. My girlfriend gets a little angry at me sometimes for that, because she's like, "No, I want to listen to this." I'm like, "No, no, no, skip, no chance."
Have you ever had that like because you travel so much, like have you ever gone to a cafe and like hey, they're playing my track, like has this ever happened to you, where maybe in a cab or someplace?
It's happened only a few times. The first time I remember it happening was in a Starbucks in Columbus, Ohio. We were
Oh.
touring the States, and I was lining up to order a coffee and then to drive to the next city, and I heard my song on the sound system, and I was like, this can't, no, it can't, no, really? And I was so excited. I said as I ordered my coffee, I said, "This is my song." And there were 4 or 5 people working, and they all heard me say it, and they all were like, "Yeah, sure, whatever, yeah, nice one, whatever."
Oh, so
They just didn't.
I thought they
They
would
didn't
give you a
believe
free.
me.
I thought they would give you free coffee after that.
No, but one of the guys did. He did tweet me later. He sent
Ah.
he sent me a message saying, "Sorry for my friends, but I googled you straight away after you left, and I proved to them that it was you and that it is your song, and they feel very bad now." But no
Do
free coffee, no.
do you also think like fame changes things in a way like that you get more conscious of the art that you're making, like since you like because you have so many songs which are so famous, so does it like affect you in a way ki maybe I should make this more because this is what people enjoy more, or does it not affect your judgment at all?
I don't think I'm famous. I think when I think of fame, I think of passenger or someone who's got a lot of pressure on them uh, to perform live and to release an album that's of a certain standard. For me, I feel like I sneak underneath that. I have a lot of listeners to some songs, but I feel like, and because I've only got 3 albums as well, I feel like I don't feel any pressure to do anything in particular. I just feel, yeah, I write the songs that I write very slowly, and then eventually when I have 10 or 11 songs, I go into a studio and someone helps me to build them into a bigger sound than just a guitar and vocal. So I don't feel any pressure. I think if I was much more famous, maybe I would feel that kind of pressure, but I think I'm lucky. I think I sneak underneath fame in quite a nice way. Like, yeah, I don't hear my songs in many places, but when I do, I love it. I don't get recognized in many places, but when I am, it's a good feeling. And so I think I have that good level of, it's
Nice.
enough. to survive, but it's not too much that it's out of control. Yeah.
Nice. Vaani?
What was your most what would you say was your most worthwhile investment during the last 1 year? This could be anything like money wise, energy, time, or any other resource.
Nice.
I think hiking. When the tour finished in the middle of March last year, and I didn't know where I could or should go. I managed to get into France. It was not easy, but I managed to cross a few borders. Nothing illegal, but I made it across some borders that I was told again it's impossible. But in the countryside in France where I was staying, it's so peaceful, and I really got into hiking, being outside, and some overnight camping, and just being in the wide open spaces. And now I'm in Switzerland, and the same, staying in a quiet place, and there's some mountains just behind, and hiking has been the best thing about the last 12 months for me. And I had to go to Scotland for a few months. I don't have a visa to stay here, so I'm floating 3 months to try and juggle things. So I was in Scotland for a few months on an amazing island, and every day that it wasn't raining, I was hiking across the island. It's just, I don't know why it's taken me so long to fall in love with hiking. Yeah, it blows my mind because I love it so much now. Yeah,
What do you do when you're in doubt, apart from hiking? Or when you're anxious, when you're feeling anxious?
it's a good question. I think at the moment, when I used to feel that, I would if I'm feeling anxious in the past, I would go for a drive or go for a walk, and just try and have no distractions, and just have that movement of driving or walking, and seeing an open landscape. But it hasn't been always possible in the last 12 months due to lockdowns and restrictions and different things. And I think it's a very good question that I probably haven't really thought about, but I think I have struggled with that outlet of when I'm slightly anxious and worried about what to do or what will happen, and yeah, it's probably been trapped inside at different times in the last 12 months, because it's not been easy to get out and go somewhere. Yeah. So, but I think the answer would be in normal times to get out and drive or walk somewhere. Yeah.
I also want to know, like, do you also consume podcasts? Are you a podcast fan?
I'm not. I want to be. I've got a few lists and a few recommendations that people have sent me, and I've got them loaded on my laptop to go. But I always just go to music when I want to listen to something, and I rarely do I find myself in the right headspace to listen to a podcast. When I'm flying, which hasn't happened for a long time now, I would often listen to podcasts. The only one that I really religiously listen to, there's some Australian guys called Hamish and Andy, and their sidekick Jack, although he's almost the main star in the show. But there's three of them, and they're just idiots. They're just funny guys who do silly things, and their podcast is very good value, and it's been going for 20 years or something. Radio show and now podcast, and yeah, you should check them out at some stage. I tried to get my girlfriend to listen to them, but they talk a little too fast. She speaks French, and she struggles to keep up with their quick talking Australian accent. But they're so funny when you can tune into them. Yeah. But I would like to listen to some different podcasts too. Yeah.
There's an interesting comment that came up, and I also thought of it a few minutes ago. So there's Jibin he's a subscriber, and he says, do you think knowing the meaning of lyrics is important when you listen to a foreign language song?
That's an amazing question. Yeah. And I think no. I think, and I've played all around the world, so from my experience, I think the first time I really understood that concept was in Japan, when the crowds didn't speak English. Maybe a couple of people could speak English, but I knew that they were just feeling the music.
Yeah.
And I think when you can, like Ray Charles, when you can play with all your soul and put that into the music, it doesn't matter what lyrics you're singing. Essentially, if you're feeling what you're singing, people will feel that too. Uh, so I don't think it's that important to understand the lyrics sometimes. I think there are occasions when it could be a little tricky and maybe the lyrics not matching the feeling. But I think if you can feel it, then I think that's incredible. Yeah, I think that's what, for me, that's what music is about feeling it.
Because that also reminds me, because one of my favorite bands is Sigur Rós, which is an Icelandic band,
Mm,
and they make some of their songs in this language which they created, Hopelandic language.
yeah.
That is crazy. Like doing that, I don't care about like what they're saying, because I am just so like attuned to like just the vibe of it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah.
a perfect example, isn't it? We don't understand it, but you feel something. Yeah,
Yeah, this is so nice.
beautiful.
Nice. Funny.
Yeah. Do you also have a, I don't know if I asked this before, but do you also have a favorite quote that you live by? A,
Favorite
a line that
quotes.
keeps you going?
There's one. I'm going to look it up here. James K. Baxter. He's a guy that was around in the 60s, early 70s. I think he died 1971 or something, maybe, in New Zealand. And he has a quote that I struggle with this a lot of the time. I want to disappear sometimes and just live a very quiet life in the middle of nowhere, look after myself, and just enjoy the peace and quiet. That's deep within me to want to go and do that. But I feel as a musician, there's a different job, there's a responsibility, and so I battle with those two sides of things quite a lot. And James K. Baxter, this quote is something I've saved, and I go back to it every now and then. I'll read it to you. It says, if the poet breaks with society and departs into the wilderness in customary romantic style, then he loses brotherhood with all but similar outcasts. What justice demands is something more difficult, that he should remain as a cell of good living in a corrupt society, and in this situation, by writing and example, attempt to change it. And I find that always an
Wow.
encouragement, because he's so right. Like, if we have a voice, if we have a platform, if we have a connection, we should be using it for good things and not just disappearing into the wilderness. Yeah, as much as I want to do that most of the time.
But this is nice. And I think
Yeah.
I can learn a lot from that because I feel that constantly.
Yeah.
There's also an interesting comment. It's by Midhansh Yadav, and he's asking you if you watch cricket.
I
Nice.
I grew up in Australia, obviously, and my father was so into cricket, and so I was born in 1980. So the Australian cricket team in the 80s and early 90s was an incredible team. Alan Border, Dean Jones, Steve Waugh, Mark Waugh, Ian Healy, like some incredible players that I idolized as a kid. I played cricket and loved it so much. And then when I started traveling, I just kind of disconnected. I couldn't keep up with watching it and uh, and really being connected with it like I was when I was in Australia. So I've really lost touch with cricket, sadly. But every time I'm back in Australia, I tune in with whatever's happening locally, and I also try and sneak onto my brother-in-law's cricket team if I'm there on the weekend when they're playing. I go and grab my old cricket bat and join them for the day.
So
Yeah, I love cricket.
we recently had this very iconic test series in like Australia, where India had beaten Australia. Yeah, and like it was one of the most
Yeah.
iconic series. So like everyone in India is like, "Hey, we did it."
We were
Amazing.
surprised ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But yeah,
yeah, and like
I think there
I
are.
think, yeah, yeah, please, please, please.
No, I was going to talk about your IPL experience, but please
No,
go
no,
on.
no, no. I,
Hey, yeah.
but like I really want like if you would want to play us like play something for us, and I think Vani, you can like request for a song because I think that would be.
I think anything would work for me at this point. But yeah,
All right,
But
I have a guitar here.
I'll put you on spotlight also. 1 second. Yeah.
I literally haven't I haven't picked up my guitar more than 2 days this year. It's very strange. I haven't. I think a lot of people are feeling it. That it's hard to be motivated and inspired sometimes, and so I'm definitely feeling that. And so it feels very strange to pick up my guitar right now. But I don't know what song to play. I feel like I should play Going Back to Bowenville for you.
Nice.
that'll be really nice. Thank you so much.
I just need to tune. This tuning is dadgad tuning, and I didn't know anything about it until one of my very good friends from Australia came to stay, and he borrowed my guitar and he tuned it to this tuning, and then he left, and he didn't retune it to standard. So when I picked it up to play, for me it was a very, whoa, what is this? That's not sounding good with the normal chords. And instead of tuning it straight away, I just started to fiddle around with some things, and this song is only thanks to my friend who left it in this tuning. Man, I might forget how to play this. When I was a little boy, I was so shy and reserved. Someone knocking on the front door, I'd go and hide in my room. And if you call me on the telephone, I wouldn't want to talk with you. And when I was a little boy, I was so shy and reserved. And when I was 17, I felt like I had. I left school, I moved towns, I got a job working in a grocery store. I didn't want to go too far, and I never really went. When I was 17, I felt like I had it all. But I'm a little older, and I feel more like a man. Now I'm a little wiser, could find my way back home again. I'm going back to Bowenville, where people know your name. Yeah, I'm going back to Bowenville, where everything stays the same. Bowenville don't change. And when I turned 26, well, I just walked away. I think about it all the time. And what if I had have stayed? But there's nothing that a man can do to rewind his yesterday. Yeah, when I turned 26, well, I just walked away. I walked away. I walked away. Now I'm a little older, and I feel more like a man. Now I'm a little wiser, can find my way back home again. I'm going back to Bowenville, where people know your name. Yeah. I'm going back to Bowenville, where everything stays the same. I'm going back to Bowenville, yeah, where people know your name. Yeah. I'm going back to Bowenville, where everything stays the same. Bowenville don't change. Bowenville don't change. I was so scared of finishing on the wrong chord just then. I had to check I had the right thing.
This was amazing. Vaani, how are you feeling?
I I I don't have words. Actually, I'm very happy and I'm overwhelmed. But yeah.
This was beautiful, Stu. Thank you so much for playing this for us. People are going
It's
crazy
a
in the
pleasure.
comments right now. Like they're like literally. My mom is also in the comments, and like she also sings, and she is like everyone is so happy in the comments right now. Thanks for doing this.
No, it's a pleasure. It feels strange but good to play a song again. I should do it more often. Yeah.
Yeah. It was very meditative also. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I think both our parents are like your parents are also there, my parents are also here in the
Yeah,
comments.
I also
And they
just
just showed up.
this
Yeah,
is amazing. Yeah.
Mm.
this is really nice. I
And
feel good.
I really want you guys, please go and like check out Stu's recent works. We have also put the links in the description.
Yeah,
And I because I know once you listen to one song, you will be stuck in the loop where you'll go and check out everything after that. And that is also what happened
yeah.
to us. And this was incredible, Stu. Thank you so much for doing this. And I hope,
It's a
yeah,
pleasure. Yeah.
I hope you had a nice time with us.
It's been really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, you guys are very kind, and it's been a great pleasure to hang out with you for the last hour. Beautiful.
Is there anything that we might have missed that you might want to touch down upon? Like anything, any question or anything that you would want to say?
Not really. The only thing is, Vani, I want to join the monthly book
Oh,
thing.
nice.
I was reading about that, and I saw that you did is it a Murakami book
Yeah.
last month? Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a bit more research and try and join in on that and catch up every month. Yeah.
Sure.
This is
I'll keep you posted each month about the book that we are reading for that month.
Yeah. Cool. That'd be great. Thank you. Yeah.
this is amazing.
Thank you, Stu.
Yeah. So, Vani, shall we end the stream?
Yeah,
Okay.
let us do so.
So, yeah. Thank you so much, Stu, for doing this.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll just end the stream, guys. Thank you so much for joining in, and thank you so much for all the
Yeah.
lovely comments. I am going to end the stream.